everybody, it's Alyce-Kay Ruckelshaus of Threshold of Hineni, and I'm here to show you another kind of little note tablet that you can put in your junk journals. Sorry. This one is so easy. It's super easy, and I started the video earlier and I had forgotten to have my stapler. I could sew this, but I wanted to staple it so that you could see that you don't have to sew everything. So anyway, I'm going to make 4 of these little notepads, and what I've done is I cut, and some of the papers I tore, just a bunch of coffee stained paper, and I was showing you, I don't know if you can see it on these ones because they're already cut up, but this one, those lines are because when I dyed my paper, I put it on top of a cookie cooling rack in the oven, one that was metal, not coated. Okay, and it makes those lines, which are really nice for writing paper in your journal. And then I have this one here that I wrinkled up before I coffee dyed it, and it didn't do anything really special. It was just an experiment. And then this one I had laid lace on top of, back and forth on the paper, and so it made the impression of all these different kinds of laces. Okay, so what I did was I cut my paper into 4 to 5 pieces. And not even pieces. I don't want them to all be the same size, so I didn't measure them at all. And so then I divided those into 4 groups because they're going to be 4 different notebooks. So I'm going to set these 3 aside. Each one's going to be decorated differently, but we're going to make them all the same. It's really easy. You guys are just going to die at how easy this is. And I think I saw Gail Augustinelli doing this first. I'm not sure. I think everybody does them. So you have your little strips. And they don't even have to be the same length, okay? And they don't have to be coffee stained. You can use leftover printer paper or scrapbooking paper or whatever. And you just fold them in half. Okay, you want to have your biggest piece probably on top, but if not, even that's okay. All right, see? And see when I look through them, they're not all the same size. In fact, sometimes when I do them, some of them are really a lot smaller. Okay, and so they all look different. Okay, you guys are going to be amazed at how easy this is. You want to make sure that they're all stuffed down there into the crease. You're going to take your stapler and you're going to make 2 or 3 staples along the top edge, just depending on how wide they are. Sometimes when I do them, they're not even wide enough for 3 staples. I just put 2 staples. Okay, so that's it. That's my first one. We're going to decorate this in a little bit, but let's do the others first. Okay, so we have our other 3. Because this part is the same, doing the stapling and everything. Okay, I have one piece that's a little bit wider. I like to put the widest piece on the outside. To me, that just makes more sense. And then I kind of center the others, or sometimes I stagger them. Oh, and I'll show you a different way that you can do it too on the next one, so I don't forget. I think it's called a waterfall. I'm not 100% certain of that, but I think that's what people call it. And I've never actually tried it myself. I've just seen people do it. Okay, so I think that this is how it goes. Let's find the widest piece. That's this one here. Okay, so we're going to have this wrinkly one on the outside. So we're going to not put it all the way down so that it's even. Okay. And this would actually look prettier if you had different colors. So then this one's going to be folded just a little bit up from there. Can you imagine, okay, if these were like rainbow colors or something, then you'd have the colors coming out here at the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to have this one coming up just a little bit more right here. But these are kind of different colors because they're different colors of coffee dye. That one didn't. That one's the same as the one before, so let's pull it down just slightly. Okay. So that's like almost folded in half. And then this one, I'm going to fold it so that this part comes out a little bit farther. Okay. And so, wait a second. Is that right? No, it would go like this. Something like that, yeah. Okay, so that you've got these all different sizes here, so that it looks different on the bottom. Okay, so that's kind of cool. I like that. Looks kind of neat. And the other thing that's kind of neat about that, let me staple this first and then I'll show you. My idea is that when you make one like this, you could write something at the bottom of each page, you know, like, this is my shopping, you could write shopping list or gas mileage or whatever, you know, and have a different one of these each week with each of those little themes. That would work well. ATM charges, so you can give it to your husband to balance the checkbook. Oh, you balance your checkbook? Oh, I'm so sorry. My husband takes care of all of our finances, and I really like that. He's not the kind that's, you know, like, he's in charge of the finances and I don't have any say. He's just, he does it, and I really appreciate that. He used to be a bank manager a long time ago, among the many other hats that he has worn. He was even in a robbery one time where they held a gun to his head. This was when he was pretty young. Okay, so, all right, so there are the basic notebooks. Okay, then what we have to do is decide how we're going to decorate them. We don't want to leave them with those staples showing, although if you're just making these for yourself to have at home, if you wanted to, but why not make them pretty? Okay, so let's just make them pretty. I want to have one to go in this. I didn't make one that matched this. I made some other little notebooks for it, but not quite one that matches it per se. So I think I'm going to use some of this fabric stuff. Do I have my fabric scissors here? Of course not. Yes, I do. Okay. So I'm going to cut it. I usually cut it just like a smidge longer than the thing is wide. And I'm going to tuck it over. I'm going to fold it over the top here like this. Okay, I'm going to glue it to the top. No sewing at all on this one, okay? So for those of you who don't sew, this is one that you can do really easily. You can sew these if you want, but don't sew it after you've stapled it. Sew it, you know, don't use staples if you're sewing it, okay? And you can sew it. I totally sew it sometimes too. Although for some reason, I don't know, for some reason this kind, I know why I usually use staples is because I make these at the kitchen table when I'm sitting talking to my husband. You know, I do a lot back here with my sewing machine. My husband thinks I'm having an affair back here right under his nose. I tell him, I need to go have some private time with my sewing machine. And he laughs. He thinks that's really funny, but you all understand. Okay, so I'm going to put it about halfway on right there. Okay, and then I'm just going to flip this over to cover it up. And hopefully some of the glue will leak out because I want it to go all the way to the edge. And so I've got my handy dandy little cosmetic wipes that I like to use. They're just dry cosmetic wipes that I like to use for wiping up glue. And then to wipe off my table, I use baby wipes. But these are so sturdy, and I can use them a few times. Okay, so that's my beginning. Okay, then what else do I want to do on this? I think I want to put a button. And you know, one of the things that you can do with these is you can decorate these with things that are going to stick up, like buttons and everything, because they can be taken out. So they're not, you know, they're not going to be in the way when somebody's writing or something, because I don't know if that would go. I might want to do a button, actually, not a bead. Because if it's close to the page that you're writing on, you know, you don't want a button right under where you're writing. Well, with this, you can just take the notepad out and it's not a problem. Okay, so I like that little star with that, but I think I want something kind of hanging down from it. So what do I have in the way of ribbon? That's okay, but I'm not thrilled with it. How about actually some lace? And the lace, I brought my journal over here because this lace is actually a little bit too long that I have on my journal. So I wanted to just go ahead and use some of it. I'm going to cut this in half because it's kind of a mirror image thingy. Let's see if I want to use this on here. That's kind of fun. It's a little bit longer than needs to be, but that's okay. Okay, I've got that coffee dye at the end there. I want to have that where it's going to show. And I think I want this to go like that. Okay, that's going to be cute, I think. Okay, so you could put a button, you could put a little rosette. I'm going to show you several different options, but you know, you could just put all kinds of fun things there. Okay, so I'm going to use my glue. And this is the Crafter's Pick Ultimate Glue. This is like, I use a glue stick some, but other than that, I pretty much just use this glue. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And it dries perfectly clear. So, you know, if you get it all over something, I mean, I try to wipe it off as much as I can, but I've had places where I've had like gobs of it and you can't even see it after it dries. It dries fairly quickly, but not so quickly that you don't have time to move stuff around. So see, you can see I've got like gobs of glue on there, and I'll try to remember to show it to you after it's dry. It won't be in this video because it'll take a little while, but it'll be really perfectly clear. So there's the first one, and try to imagine it without the white of the glue there. Okay, so that's one. This one, I think I would like to use some of my burlap. So I'm going to cut some burlap. This is more than what I'm going to need. I just wanted to cut off that piece. Okay, so I actually kind of like it to be crooked. I don't like it to be all perfect looking. And I'm not going to say what I usually say. You can make it perfect looking if you want to, but I just don't like mine to be perfect looking. So I'm going to, which side do I like better? So I'm going to put it on like this. Now with the burlap, the glue is going to go through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one side, let it dry, and then do the other side. So I may not finish decorating it before this video's over. We'll see. But you know, it's like whatever I stick it to, if I do it on both sides, the glue is going to come through and stick to something. So I'm going to get this started and then leave it alone and come back to it. Okay? Alright, so then this one, what do we want on this? We can do like some ribbon. I've got some really nice grosgrain ribbon. Let's do some of that. Okay. And I don't want it to be, I'm going to have to square the end off here. That triangle can go into my scrap bin for Franken paper. And I'm going to get it right there. I mean, you get the idea, right? You could use pieces of paper to put over the end of it, like we did on some of those other notebooks. You could use just about anything, really, to cover the staples. Okay, so I put the glue on the ribbon or the fabric rather than on the notepad itself, except with the burlap. Because I just want to make sure that I'm getting all the way to the edge of the ribbon or fabric. And the glue will help keep it from fraying at the very end. Okay, and I'm getting some in the middle too. I use a lot of glue when I'm doing this. Okay, so I'm going to just stick it in there, fold it over. And you can trim the sides if you want. I don't know why, I just always make it a little bit longer and I like it that way. I like it to stick out the side just a little bit. If I didn't, it's easy to trim. Okay, and that'll dry clear. You can see the glue through it right now, but it's going to dry clear. Okay, so then what do I want to do on this? I was thinking of maybe doing one of these tassels on one of them. I think I would prefer to use that if I was using slightly darker paper on the front, so I don't think I'm going to use the tassels. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, this is also something I like to use on them, but it wouldn't look good with this. How about, let's do some ribbon. How about some of this ribbon? And I think maybe we'll make like a little bow or something. And then if we want to, we can put something in the middle. We'll just see how it looks. This bow is probably going to be too big. I always end up cutting too much, but that's okay. I can use the scraps of ribbon in my Franken paper. You guys know how much I love making Franken paper. It's like the most relaxing thing ever. Okay, yeah. Way too much ribbon. Okay. So So I'm gonna, that leftover ribbon, I'm gonna put it for now in my little tiny bin here because I might have a use for it before I do my franken paper. But let's put that bow there. Do we want anything else under it? That's kind of, it's kind of masculine. I kind of like that. Maybe just a little bit of, let's see how it would look if we put just a little tiny bit of cheesecloth under it. This is coffee dyed cheesecloth. It'll give it kind of a older, falling apart look kind of thing. So what I did was I took it and I just twisted it a little bit. Yeah, I like that better, don't you? Okay, so I'm going to put it underneath the cheesecloth, and then I'll probably put some under the bow too, even though the cheesecloth part will probably leak through to the bow enough. Gosh, do you guys hear that thunder? Isn't that amazing? It's really, really, yeah, I'll just put a little bit on the bottom of this. It's really thundering out there. We have got a doozy of a storm. In the summer we get crazy, crazy storms here. If you've ever seen Christy, that TV series based on, oh dear, Catherine, I can't remember her last name. Anyway, she wrote a book called Christy, and it was really about her mother, basically. And anyway, it's set in East Tennessee, not far from where we live, and you'll see all kinds of thunder and stuff. Now, I could put like a little button on that or something, but I think I'm going to just leave it like that. That's good. Okay, so this feels like it's pretty dry. This, see, you can still see it's wet, okay? That's still white there. But we're ready to go ahead and put this burlap down. I think I'm going to cut the edge before I put it down though, because I've got way too much there. And this can go in for franken paper too, although I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stick it in my little bowl over here in case I need it before then. I think I may have cut it too much. Ah! But we'll just pull it tight. There we go. And I'll use my little handy dandy cosmetic thing to hold it down. There we go. So it's all going to be stuck in there really nicely. There we go. Yep, that holds it. Gosh, I can't believe how good this glue is. It's amazing. So I'm going to leave that sitting up to dry a little bit while we do this next one. Okay, and I didn't really, I mean, I kind of grabbed stuff, but I didn't think about exactly, you know, like what I'm doing beforehand or anything. Okay, so we did the fabric, we did the burlap, we did that. Let's do, see, again, I would do like some cheesecloth or something if it was colored. Actually, let's do it anyway. I'm not sure if you can see it. Or we could do, you know what? No, let's do this. I've still got a little bit of this left. So I'm going to cut this to the size for that. Okay. Put the scrap over here. And my journal, I'm going to cut some ribbon. I mean some lace from that because, like I said, my journal tie is way too long. This is the journal that I'm writing in right now besides my Abraham journal. Okay, so I'm going to tuck this over it, and I think I'm going to do lace over that. Yeah, I like that. And then we'll do, I don't know, ribbon or a button or a bead or something. We'll see. Okay, so I like that. Okay, so I would probably sew this, the lace, to the fabric, but since I told you we're going to do this without any lace, without any sewing, I'm just going to go ahead and glue it. I'm going to put some glue straight down the middle for the lace because it's going to dry clear. It's not going to show. Okay. And let me just dab that so that I don't have a whole bunch of excess glue sticking to stuff. Okay, and then I'm going to put my glue on the fabric. I'm not going to put my glue on the lace that's sticking off the sides. I'm just going to put it on the fabric. I kind of want that lace to be loose. And again, I'm going down the sides and then I'm going to go down the middle just to make sure that it's extra, extra secure on there because, you know, because I put these things into my purse and or even my pocket and they get jostled around and, you know, I want it to all stay together really well. So I just glue it super, super well. Isn't that cute? I like that. Okay, and I probably should have done some of these with some colored paper because then the lace would have shown up better for you all, but can you use your imaginations? Okay, so you can do this with anything. All right, and then, oh, and this would have been a really good lace to use because we could have used this just by itself, but again, it would be cuter with a colored paper. Okay, so what do we want to do with this? I think, didn't I bring out, yeah. I'm not sure if my rosettes, if any of them would look good with that, with those colors or not. Do I have red? That's kind of cute. Let's put some red, a red rosette there. Or would this look better? I think this looks too babyish. Yeah, we need something with more. Okay, so we're going to put a red rosette and maybe a little bit of ribbon hanging down. Let's see what I've got here. I have red. I'm sure I do someplace, it's just not where I can find it. How about this? Let's do some of this. We're just going to cut a little bit of it and fold it and put it under it. And again, sometimes I sit here and I'll make like 10 or 15 of these sitting at the kitchen table with Bill, and oh, there's enough glue on there that I don't even really need to put glue on it. But again, I just want to be extra sure that it's all going to hold. Okay, so I'm putting that there, and then I'm going to put a whole bunch of glue for the rosette because I just want it to kind of nestle in that glue, because see how it's kind of pointed underneath? So I really want it to be able to hold on there. And this will, I mean, it'll hold in my purse, jostling around in my pocket. It's really funny how well these things hold. So that's cute. Okay, so now what do we want to do with this? That actually would be cute with a rosette too, but how about a button? I've got lots of buttons. How about a green button? That's cute. Maybe even a bigger one. I think maybe this one will be a notebook for Bill. I'll just leave it at his place on the table. And he likes his buttons. These are his buttons. What do we want to have hanging down from it? Maybe some of his yarn. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to make this like messy yarn. Okay, I'm just going to like stick it underneath, just like in a mess, in a wadded mess. And I know he'll love that. This is really cool yarn. My husband is a knitter. I mean, and I don't mean like he sits with needles and knits. He has vintage knitting machines, one of which is from the 1890s. And so he knits, oh, he's got sweaters in his Etsy shop, and he knits mostly custom made sweaters. Although I think he's kind of slowing down, so I think he may stop doing custom sweaters pretty soon. Okay, and again, that white glue is going to dry clear. That's kind of cute, isn't it? I like that. I'm going to leave this for Bill at his place at the table. Okay, so that's it, you guys. I mean, this is so easy, and you can come up with lots of other things that you can put on these to decorate them, right? You can use colored paper like I did for the other notebooks. Just whatever scraps you have around. This is a great way to use them, and you can, just make them for around the house as well as for your junk journals. But anyway, cute, easy, no sewing. I love you all. I'll see you next time with some more notebooks. Bye-bye.